Hello and welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of A New Go of New Home Sales. I'm your host, Anya Christianthen. I am very excited to introduce my guest for today, Lowell Hays. Lowell is the president of Maverick. Maverick is the leading provider of insurance and warranty services for home builders. So Lowell, welcome to the show, and I am so excited to have you on today.
Awesome. Thank you, Anya. I appreciate you having me on.
Well, first of all, your name, tell us more about that, because I have not met anyone before by name Lowell.
It's a blessing and a curse. It's a family name. I'm actually the fourth. So my dad, my grandfather, and great grandfather are all named Lowell. So yeah, it's a nice family legacy.
So do you have the fifth?
It's a really funny question. I had my wife and I had a son 4 weeks ago. So our second child.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, if I'm a little bleary-eyed, that's probably the reason for it.
We understand.
We had a big decision. We ended up deciding not to name him the fifth.
And so what did your family say to that?
I know there's a lot tied to it. My dad's actually a home builder, so there was the ending of the home builder legacy and the name legacy. But yeah, our son's named William Houston Hays, which is named after my brother. So instead of my dad, named after my brother, and Houston is what he's going by.
Very cool. So it sounds like you do have home building in your blood. So
truly in my blood.
So we'd love to hear more about your stories. Our listeners would love to get to know you, your background. So start whatever you want. I always curious about what people did before they get to where they are now. So if you can kind of take us through the progression of your career and tell us more about Maverick.
Well, there's a lot there, and we probably don't have time for all the twists and turns. But yeah, I grew up in the construction business. My dad, Lowell Hays Construction, was a high-end custom builder in the Memphis, Tennessee area. Still works there and still an active member of the building community there, and a Maverick customer, thankfully. But I spent my weekends and nights in middle school and high school helping out with odd jobs, mowing the grass to get houses across the finish line, and just kind of experiencing life. It's a small family business, so that was what I knew. When I was in high school and college, I built my dad's first website, put together his first Instagram account. I remember building an Excel spreadsheet for him that was his first budgeting tool before QuickBooks. So lived and breathed everything that went into that business. And honestly, it's a lot of sort of the inspiration for where we're taking Maverick, was realizing how difficult it is to run a home building business, particularly like most builders who are relatively small organizations. There's just so much that goes into it. And so, sitting around the kitchen table with bills and invoices spread out, that was what life was like. Friday mornings with, draws and subcontractor bills taped to the back door, so people could come by and get their workers paid. That was what our house was like. After that, I professionally thought I would end up in a completely different path. Didn't really have plans to follow in the home building industry. Started my career in financial services consulting at Deloitte Consulting. Worked in a variety of different industries, banking, insurance, wealth management, and really got bit by the entrepreneurial bug while I was there, and left the consulting world of big 100, big 500 corporations, and joined a startup accelerator called Kinsey Lane in Atlanta, where I worked with a really, really strong team of entrepreneurs and an innovation fund in town. And we built companies from the ground up. And that's really where I learned how to build technology products and build technology tools. Along the way, went to business school, started a couple other companies, and got approached by the ownership group of Maverick, a group called Bankers Financial, about 2 years ago, to come join our business, which had been around for about 30 years under a couple different names, but originally founded as Bonded Builders, and was one of the leading home builder warranty companies in the nation, and was really brought in to take that business to what I call the second half. We had a great first 30 years and try to figure out what the next 30 years is going to look like. And that's where we are today, which is a much broader mandate, really focused around some of those things that I felt when I was sitting around the kitchen table with my dad, which was it's just really hard to run a home building business. And so we like to say at Maverick, we're in the business of simplifying the business of home building and helping builders focus on the things that they actually want to be doing, which is building houses, finding new development areas, putting together projects and exercising that creative energy that I think makes home builders a really unique industry.
Yeah, you're so right. And, one customer experience can really ruin that legacy of a home builder, right?
That's right.
Especially, I think, with everything that's been going on with supply chain and labor shortages and everything else that makes home building so much more difficult
That's right.
as far as that customer experience role goes. So let's talk a little bit about customer experience, because a lot of what you guys do is really designed to enhance customer experience. So from your perspective, when do you think customer experience starts?
It starts a lot earlier than most people think about it. And you and I have talked about this, but it's a great example of kind of where what you guys do so well around the home sale process fits really well into what we do around managing the homeowner experience. Because, in my perspective, and you tell me if you agree, it starts with first impression. It starts with the minute you get introduced to a builder. And that's really their website, right? That's probably, or it's this first salesperson that they run into. It's how they're treated throughout the process. It's whether they feel like the sale process is something that's fair, it's transparent, and it really comes down to what expectations are then set in the sales process around what are they buying and how will the builder support them. So we think it starts there, and then after that, it goes a lot longer than most people think. And so obviously our legacy has been primarily in the home warranty space, which depending on state can last for 10 years. And so we think it's important for builders really to think end to end about that, because at the end of the day, their reputation is their number one driver of new business. And that was, again, something I realized sitting around the kitchen table. Your reputation is ultimately your future success. It's how you get new jobs. It's how trades want to work with you. And now more than ever, where people can get information on other people's customer experiences, you've got to really give a white glove experience.
Yeah. So you know what? It's interesting. I was just reading a study recently. I forgot where, maybe it was Statistica or a very credible website. And it said that the percentage of people who are unhappy with the customer service has drastically increased over the last few years. And not only the percentage of people who are unhappy with customer service increased, also the people who are willing to go on social media or review sites and actually voice that opinion has also drastically risen. So it's not just for home building. People just seem to be less and less patient these days. And so one bad experience can completely offset all of your marketing spend,
Right.
and all that
That's right.
reputation, everything that you've done and worked for so hard over the years, especially for smaller like custom builders that, a lot of times they rely on a word of mouth, and reputation is everything. I mean, not to say that for large nationals, of course, it's always important, but they at least have the budgets to
That's
oftentimes
right.
offset that damage that's been done. So I'd love to learn more about your services. So you mentioned that you guys do both insurance as well as warranty. So
Yep.
obviously two very different aspects. So talk to me, let's start with insurance. I assume that applies to the business owner, the builder.
The whole home building enterprise. So we provide sort of full wall of protection of all different types of insurance. And kind of backing up at why that made a lot of sense for us is when we thought about what are the time consuming aspects that keep builders away from what they love doing. First things that started to come up are liability, insurance exposure. It seems like it's way more complicated than it should be when you've got to manage coverage for subcontractors. You've got, depending on the size of the business, dozens or hundreds of active projects You've got employees and so superintendents and people at all different levels. Felt like that is an incredible area of administrative pain and headache. So that was an obvious place for us to look. Also connects to the warranty world. So when we talk about homeowner experience, the first part of one of the main parts of homeowner experience is your home warranty, which is ultimately starts with setting customer expectations. So what are you going to cover and what is not going to be covered when I sell you this home? Just like when I buy, a new set of headphones. Houses have that manufacturer warranty connected to it. What our company has done and what third-party warranties provide is a combination of services and products that can help you around the warranty. So number one, it's the contract. Let's make sure that it's bulletproof so that you don't end up in court. Number two is administrative services. So you're a small or medium or a large home builder. How are you going to deliver on your customer experience? Do you have the right staffing and people to do that? And that can change based on geography. So let's say you are operating in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and you have a new development you're starting in Houston. You can't teleport your people there. So how do you deliver the same experience in Houston that you'll deliver in Dallas? So it comes down to helping builders figure out from an administrative angle how to deliver a great experience. And then it's the liability side. And that's the connection point between insurance and homeowner experiences. If something goes wrong related to that house, be it big or small, who's going to pay for it? And companies like ours particularly will step in and have agreements with builders to transfer liability or set up the right arrangement so that they feel comfortable with their exposure. So obviously we have one of the leading insurance agencies that can sit down with the builder and really talk holistically about risk protection. Because it's not just the policies, right? It's like, hey, tell me about your business. Let's look at your contracts. Let's see, do they actually match? Can't tell you how many times we've sat down with a builder and realized that their sales contract and their subcontractor agreement and their general liability policy had completely different language because they had 3 different people that were involved in each of those components. So that's the first thing. So let's just simplify it and give you one plan. And that naturally rolls over into how are we going to help you deliver on the kind of customer experience that you want to deliver?
Mm-hmm. And I've seen so many stories, and I think everybody have heard those stories where kind of post 08, so many smaller builders went under, right? Like, I mean, people were closing shop left and right. So if you were one of those homeowners who was lucky enough that the house was actually finished, because many of them got stuck with unfinished product. Now, what happens with that warranty if it was handled in-house? Probably not there anymore.
That's
and
right.
Yeah, like you brought out a really, really important point of that geographical location. I never even thought about that aspect of being a smaller custom builder. If you are moving from place to place, or depending on where your business is, sometimes, you do have to go out of your way, where the work is. And then suddenly, okay, 10 years later, are you still in that area? Are you still servicing? So for our listeners who may not be as familiar about the warranty, are you talking about like the 1 to 10 type of a warranty? I mean, back from my sales days, I do roughly remember what's covered in the 1 year, the 2 years behind the wall, the 10-year kind of a structural. So talk to us a little bit more about the most common warranties that you see out there and what's most popular with your builders. What do you recommend?
You're exactly right. So it's the standard 1 to 10, and it technically changes based on the state. Some states have different legal rules. So some people know this, some people don't, but I'll kind of go back to the basics of why the 1 to 10 warranty is the industry standard. In almost all states in the US, there are what's called implied warranty laws, which essentially means it's a consumer protection practice that says if there's no explicit warranty, these are the minimum expectations that a builder is expected to deliver on in terms of the quality of the house that you've bought. Those depend state to state. There's a reference guide we give to a lot of our customers that kind of goes through each of those states and what the rules are. So what happened in sort of the, let's say late 80s or so, is that the And the warranty industry sort of came about as a way for builders to take charge of that situation. And rather than letting the courts dictate what's in and out of my warranty, to come in and say, let's explicitly agree on what the terms and conditions of the warranty are when I sell you the house. And so by issuing a third-party warranty, a 1-2-10 warranty, you can replace the implied warranty coverage by providing, at least the same, if not more, coverage to your homeowner. It has a ton of benefits. Number one, keeps you out of court, and it puts you typically in arbitration, which is a better mechanism for builders if something happens. And then beyond that is it gives a builder an ability to create something they can actually use as a promotional tool. So we work with some builders who we help them administer their own warranty. It's their own 1-2-10 warranty. And others where it's issued by us as a third-party company and where we are the backstop if anything goes wrong, just like you were mentioning in 08, 09. So that's another way for some builders who say, look, you don't necessarily know who I am. Maverick has certified that I'm a high-quality builder, so high quality that they're willing to stand behind this home for the next 10 years. So the actual warranty coverage depends a little bit state to state, but generally you're exactly right. Builders are going to meet those implied warranty obligations with a 1-year workmanship coverage, 2-year systems coverage, and a 10-year structural coverage. And then they're going to deliver that with different types of bells and whistles on top of that.
Yeah, you're so right. It is definitely a great tool to use as a marketing tool because
Absolutely.
That's one of the differentiators between used and a new home. Although, of course, you could always buy secondary warranty for a used home, but let's face it, it's not the same. Not the same
It's
thing.
not the same, exactly.
Yeah. So I can imagine you guys must have a heck of a technology platform behind to back that up, because I can only imagine the number of calls, texts, emails you get from people. So how do you manage all of that?
You're exactly right. So there's a ton of activity in delivering on a warranty. We have an entire claims team that all they do every day is deal with homeowner issues. Bless their soul. They're incredibly good at it, but they are incredibly good at hearing what's going on, dissecting the issue, determining whether we should send out an inspector or whether we should send out a repair tech, coordinating with repair techs to the extent it's a bigger issue, with actually getting involved in the arbitration mediation settlement process if we need to make a settlement payment. So we have an incredible team that supports our builders in delivering on their warranties. But we do have, as you mentioned, a technology platform that we're really proud of. We call it Beacon. And what Beacon has allowed us to do, what we launched about 2 months ago at IBS, is it really for us is a chance to kind of launch a warranty 2.0 era for the home building industry. So it mirrors what I think is happening in almost every industry. You talked about customers getting impatient. Well, if we think about what you and I probably expect with our customer experience when we go on Amazon or we go on any online platform or we go shop at a store, I think our level of expectation for service has gone up. And what that's required companies to do is view no longer is customer service cost center. It's actually part of my strategy. It's part of my sales story. And you have to think about that experience so that it's a positive experience versus an area where you look at it as, how do I just get this off of my to-do list? I think warranty for a lot of builders has historically been viewed in that warranty 1.0 view of, how do we just get this off of our list of things to do? And a lot of the warranty companies have supported that view. And so when we launched Beacon, we took a different approach, which was a much more proactive approach, where we said warranty is actually just one of the 3 key phases of a fantastic homeowner experience. And to treat it as if warranty is like carved out from the rest of the homeowner experience, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to the homeowner, and it doesn't make sense for how builders are trying to deliver a proactive experience. So our Beacon platform really has 3 components. The first thing is a checkout process, which is where our world kind of intersects with the Inugo world, where builders can customize an online to-do list of everything that needs to happen from contract to close. They can connect their homeowners to their preferred vendors, if it's a mortgage company or homeowners insurance company. title company, even a moving company. You can configure all that to make sure that your workflows are working how you want it to, because we all know builders, they've got a very special process they want to go through so they can close on time. That has to naturally flow at closing through your warranty experience. And again, the warranty could last a long time, but it's got to feel for a homeowner as a seamless transition where they've got one sort of online place they go and engage with their builder. And that one online place they go needs to be a place that they can submit issues of any kind, whether it's, hey, what color paint did you use upstairs? I need to, my kids punched a hole in the wall and I need to replace it, down to, I think my house is sinking. I need some serious help here. So our Beacon platform has a really intuitive homeowner request component. They can go in, they can view the details of that warranty, which they probably didn't read at the closing, and figure out what's covered and what's not covered. They can submit that issue, and the builder, the homeowner, and us as a warranty company can all communicate on that same claim. So the builder can see what's going on, we can engage in help, and the homeowner, they don't really care who's talking to them, the builder or the warranty company. It all runs through one place. And then following on from there is what we call the owner's manual, which is if you and I bought a new car, we used to get a paper booklet that was this thick, full of information on our car. Well, now you probably get an email link that has, here's a bunch of videos to watch on your new fancy BMW. It's the same thing we believe should happen with homes. And so as part of our Beacon platform, builders can upload videos about their home. We have pre-configured videos on how to take care of your home. And it's also a location that builders can store all of that digital record of the home, whether it's those paint colors I talked about, what subs were used. They can load all that information in and create a cloud registry of that home that the homeowner can engage with at any time. So when we launched our new Beacon platform, we tried to think about much broader than just how do we keep track of this punch list. We tried to think about it from the lens of how does a homeowner want to engage with their builder after they sell?
So you mean there's no more, that huge binder, like here?
I sure
Good
hope
luck.
not. I know. We're in the process of uploading a lot of those binders, and there's a lot of work. It'll take a long time, but it's a resource, and builders can use it how they want to. And we've gotten really strong results and feedback since we launched it.
I love that idea that it's one platform. I mean, first of all, we're so used to using platforms. I think whether it's your doctor or, any other service, like you log into one place, and it makes sense that all those other vendors come to you instead of you going to 100 different websites trying to find stuff. Just a nightmare. I love that it's cloud synced because obviously we're always on the go. And I think the idea of like accessing it anywhere on any device, if I'm at Lowe's and I'm like, oh, I need, house filters, and like, what kind of house filter do I even need to be able to access that from my mobile device is an awesome idea, because it is such a huge potential down the road, I can imagine, for builders, because it's such a missed opportunity right now where most builders are just like, okay, here's your keys, like, bye, see you later. Like, it's such a non-event to begin with, like your final walkthrough, they hand you this huge binder and, they're trying to spew out all this information of how to take care of your house. When you're excited, you're like asking so many things, there's still blue tape everywhere. And you're like, what's happening? Like, are we closing on time? This and that. So in the midst of all of this excitement to try to absorb all this information as the homeowner, especially as the first time homeowner, like, I'll tell you a story. My husband and I, when we bought our first place, lucky for us, it was new construction. So we built our first townhouse, and thank God, because it was in 06 or 07. So it was at the height of the market, of course, before everything went to hell. Interest rates were like, 6, almost 7%, which is kind of where we are now. I don't know who ever gave us a mortgage and how we qualified, because we were, a couple 20-year-olds fresh out of college, but we did it. And then, as we settled in our house and we lived in the house for a while, I remember our AC unit stopped working and we're like, what the hell? So we called the repair guy, And he came over and he's like, you guys never never changed your filter. So it was so clogged up that like the air wouldn't flow in. So it stopped working. And we're like, oh, we're supposed to do that. Yeah. So especially I think millennials these days didn't really grow up with like watching their dad do the, you know, the manly things around the house. So most millennial men or women even like have no clue where to even begin taking care of the house. And we are such a digital first generation that it makes complete sense that it would be all on one portal where I can log in the comfort of my own home, not when I'm feeling rushed at settlement, trying to memorize all these things, but hey, as you know, as needed, I have access and I can go through and kind of do it on my own time and make sure that I am actually taking good care of my house.
Well, you're exactly right. And something we've provided for a long time for our builders is a best-in-class maintenance manual that they can give to all of their homeowners. Well, in our new world, that's now a digital copy. And it's just a perfect example to your point, just where the world is going. No longer do I keep that book. I bet it gets dropped in the trash can 50% of the time. Now, 2 years down the road, when I actually have an issue, I can log in and see, what was I supposed to be doing at the 2-year mark? Almost like when you go into the car dealer and it says you're 60,000 miles, you're supposed to do this kind of service. That's now part of your digital record online. You know, and the other thing, you're talking about the closing folder. I think that's such a real example that anyone who's bought a house has had. You're walking out of the title company, you got all this information, you just want to go, you know, celebrate the new house that you just, you know, or the 30-year mortgage you just signed up for.
Yeah, really.
And you know, if you're like me, you've got a file cabinet somewhere in your house that has all those important documents that are stored away for that one day when you actually need it, and you sit there on your hands and knees digging through it, trying to find that one document you need. And that's just not a great experience. And in all likelihood, you lost it. So what we hope now is that 3, 4, 5 years down the road, when you do actually need something that you needed to know something about your home, or you do actually have an issue, all you've got to do is go onto your builder's website, click the homeowner portal button, log in, and you have all that information right there. And that's kind of how we see the world. And I think most of our builders would agree that that's what their homeowners expect nowadays.
So Lowell, as we're wrapping things up here, is there anything that I didn't ask you today that you'd like home builders to know about Maverick or the services that you provide?
We find that builders of different sizes have very different needs. So when we talk about homeowner experience, the homeowner experience that a small custom home builder is trying to deliver versus a large production builder, they're just inherently different. What we try to do is tailor our services, tailor the homeowner experience to each of those customers. And so when we're sitting here talking about technology, or we're sitting here talking about, you know, administrative services we can provide, what we do usually with our customers is we sit down across the table and we say, tell me about the experience that you want to deliver. For a custom home builder, they want to be the front line. And we're not talking about replacing that. What our tools do is it gives the homeowner another resource, almost the ribbon that goes on top of that house. But the custom home builder is still the front lines. And that's probably the best experience you're going to deliver. When we talk to large production builders, we're having a very different conversation. It's about scale. How do you scale a fantastic customer experience? And that's really about workflows. That's about routing. That's about setting up standard process. And that's where the other end of our technology really becomes helpful, which is making sure that every homeowner gets the same information. Every homeowner has the same online experience. So, you know, my last, you know, kind of closing comment to builders would just give us a call. We would love to sit down as a partner and help design what that homeowner experience looks like. We'd also love to sit down and in addition to thinking about your homeowner experience, talk about how to protect your business and have a design conversation around that. We really view ourselves as someone who is a partner in helping simplify your business. And we'd love to sit down with you.
And so, Lowell, what's the best way to reach you guys? Is it the website? What's the number to call? Tell us.
I would reach us at our website, maverickbuilders.com. and our local sales team will be in touch with you.
Love it. And Lowell, if somebody wants to connect with you personally, is there a place where you hang out on social media, or what's the best way to connect with you?
Absolutely. LinkedIn's my preferred social media, and feel free to shoot me a message if there's any way we can be helpful, or any way that if you just see the world the same way we do and want to push the home building industry in that direction.
Absolutely. So I'll be sure to include all the information in the show notes for you guys. And I think it's just so important to give it a thought. It's the customer experience shouldn't be an afterthought when it comes to delivering a great home. And yeah, it's not just hanging off the keys and good luck after this. So that experience can really make you or break you. So I would encourage all of you guys to really think through what kind of experience your customer is getting, and is there a way to improve it, because Maverick can definitely help you with that. So, well, thank you so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate your time. It's been enlightening for me to learn about you guys, and I'm sure a lot of our home builders can benefit from your services.
Awesome. Thank you, Anya.
Thank you. Talk to you very soon.
Perfect.
Bye.